When the Kentucky Derby was created, the vision was for the women to be the representation of the high life. Women were to wear their best clothes and make the Derby a reputable fashion statement. The fashion is a tradition that will forever be ingrained in the Kentucky Derby. The women did not want to be here to be presented. By making themselves a force to be reckoned with on and off the racetrack, women have made their role a vital piece to the success and legacy of the infamous Run for the Roses. The way women dressed has changed quite a bit over time. In the early years, some women wore fashionable dresses, while others opted for a modern suit and jacket, both with traditional hat and gloves. In the 50s, we see a post-war America is reflected in the fashion statements. Many wore chic suits with skirts that either were fitted to the body or billowed outward with the assistance of a petticoat. The 60s is when the style of the Derby really shifted. It was when women wore increasingly louder hats and took pride and enjoyment in selecting one. Patterns and prints were also brighter, and hemlines were defiantly raised, yielding a much different look than years before. In the 70s and 80s, there was a return to a more modest tradition. Women returned to the longer skirt, but the same attitude of the 60s was present. The 90s is when we begin to see a significant shift in style. It is the dawning of the current style of the Derby scene today. While gloves have become out of fashion, a hat never is, and the hat tends to get wilder and more expensive as the years go on. In general, the hat and dresses give women the opportunity to show off their unique style. It is a plus that some of the Derby's main events include the Kentucky Oaks, also known as Oaks Day. Oaks Day was founded in conjunction with the Derby. Within the last 20 years, it has grown into an event almost as big as the Derby itself. It began as a sort of sideshow, just some entertainment to fill the Derby weekend before the main event. Now the Kentucky Oaks has become a celebration of the ladies. This day is all about celebrating women and all they have contributed to the Kentucky Derby. It is a thank you event that features the Pink Out, the Survivors Parade, and the Long Island's Kentucky Oaks Fashion Contest. The way this event has grown and been granted all of the same royalties as the Kentucky Derby itself is a massive testament to the women who have made the Run for the Roses into what it is today. Though fashion is an enormous factor in the success of the Kentucky Derby, it is the trainers, owners, and jockeys on the track that changed the value of the women in the industry today. In 1937, we see our first ever female trainer enter the Kentucky Derby in Mary Hirsch. Though she did not see success in the Kentucky Derby, the following year she had a horse finish first in the Travis Stakes, making people aware that just because she was a woman does not mean she was not a competitor. The second trainer to ever race a horse in the Kentucky Derby was Shelley Riley in 1992. The horse she trained, Casual Lies, placed second overall in the 1992 Kentucky Derby, making a tremendous statement for women in the racing industry. Now we have Kathy Ritvo, whose horse finished third in the 2011 Kentucky Derby. That same horse went on to win the Breeders' Cup, where Kathy was the first ever woman to win that honor. We then transition to owners who have made their mark in the Kentucky Derby. In 1972 and 73, we see a legend in Penny Chinnery come to light. When her father became disabled in 1968, Penny took control of his horse farm and decided that instead of selling, she was going to try and fulfill her father's dreams of winning the Kentucky Derby. In 1972, Penny and trainer Roger Loren guided Meadow Farms colt Riva Ridge to victory in the Kentucky Derby and Belmont Stakes. The following year, Secretariat captured the hearts and minds of racing fans worldwide when he became the first Triple Crown winner in 25 years. Both horses were inducted into the National Museum of Racing and Hall of Fame. Penny made a name for herself and for women everywhere, becoming the face of two glorious racehorses and winning over the heart of America in the process. Now we move on to the evolution of the female jockey. The first ever female jockey in the Kentucky Derby was Diane Crump. In regards to her first ever race, Crump recalls hearing, "Why do we need women?" It was the feeling that women wouldn't be smart enough, strong enough, or hold up under pressure. Crump was breaking the glass ceiling and paving the way for every other female jockey to come after her. She knew this was a male-dominated sport, and her jockeying a horse in the Kentucky Derby rattled their cages and brought more attention than she had ever anticipated. The next groundbreaking jockey we see was the fourth ever to ride in the Kentucky Derby. Her name is Julie Krone. Krone is the winningest women jockey in the world. She took the door that had been propped open by Diane Crump and others and busted it wide open. In 1992, she became the ninth-ranked jockey in the nation. Then in 1993, she became the first woman ever to win a Triple Crown race. Her legendary career made the female jockey a more competitive and respectable image within the racing industry. Her positive results on the track helped build the female legacy of the Kentucky Derby. Most recently, we see Rosie Napravnik, the 6th female jockey to ever race in the Kentucky Derby. In 2011, she placed 9th out of 19 thoroughbred horses, and then again in 2013, she placed 5th overall. She is one of the greatest of all time and has many more years to further cement her place in Kentucky Derby history. The mark she has made for women in the racing industry is astonishing and shows us that though it has taken quite some time, after 144 years, the females are finally proving they are as good as the guys. Legendary women are storming through adversity to claim their victories alongside the men of the industry. The journey to a level playing field has been long and hard, and while that hasn't been achieved, women have certainly earned their place on the racetrack and the respect that comes with it. There is no argument that women have made their role a vital piece to the success and legacy of the infamous Run for the Roses.